Icon has been working on a development of 100 more affordable 3D printed houses 40 minutes outside of Austin.
Welcome to Wolf Ranch. We're going to take a look at some of the houses that they're printing here today.
This is the massive 3D printer they use to print the walls.
You can see the printer itself is on this giant dolly system, so it's able to track back and forth through the whole length of the house.
This printer requires only a few people to monitor compared to a larger crew it would typically take to complete these steps of the build process.
What we're replacing right now with Lennar is the wall system, as you can see, and it's important for me to say that that includes the framing, also the exterior veneer and the interior drywall. We take about 2 weeks to print the wall system for a home. When you combine all of those other activities, it'd probably normally take about 2 months. So we're saving a lot of time with Lennar on this project.
But don't worry, this printer isn't coming for all of the construction jobs. There's still a lot that has to be done manually with these 3D printed houses. All the plumbing, electrical, cabinetry, and roofing still requires skilled workers. The walls themselves are printed by a robot, but pretty much everything else still needs to be done by a human. When I was there, they had 8 printers going at the same time, so it's a very efficient operation. So let's take a look inside. So walking into this house, you'll notice that it is pretty different looking than House Zero in that all of the walls are painted white. It feels a little more like a traditional home in that sense. They also used a thinner layer of the lavacrete mix, and the roof is the only part of the main structure that isn't 3D printed. When you're in the living area and kitchen, it feels really large. There's a lot of volume. It's actually a really pretty tall house, and you don't notice the walls because you're not that close to them.
We're printing a home in about 2 weeks, which would have normally taken a couple of months to do. So trying to save a lot of time on our process.
Being that these homes should be more energy efficient because they have 3 layers of concrete with foam insulation in the middle.
Once we're done printing the wall, we fill the void with insulation. So there's open cell foam in the wall. It's moisture resistant. So it gives our wall a good insulation value.
Concrete is also much more thermally dense than wood, so it requires less energy to cool and it holds the temperature better.
But what if we told you that it's possible to literally print a house from clay that is everywhere and is free? At the same time, the cost of such construction will not exceed the price of an average iPhone. Intrigued? 4 years ago, the company WASP and the architectural firm Mario Cucinella Architects presented their design concept for the world's first clay house created using 3D printing. And now the project, known as Tekla, has finally been implemented in Italy, near the city of Ravenna. The house consists of 2 interconnected dome-shaped elements with a ribbed outer wall made up of 350 layers of clay stacked on top of each other. This method of laying building material not only provides the structure with the necessary strength, it also helps to create a thermal barrier between the indoor spaces and the street. But the most interesting thing is that the main material for creating the house was a mixture of local clay, water, rice husk fibers, and a binding agent that makes up only 5% of the total raw material mass. According to the company's plan, similar structures can easily be created in any other part of the planet using materials common to a particular region. The 646 square foot and 14-foot high building consists of a living room, kitchen, and sleeping area. The house is also equipped with utility rooms and a circular skylight on the roof. The building's interior has a similar organic aesthetic and furniture, some of which is already partially printed using a 3D printer. It took only 200 hours to build the house since the construction did not require an additional frame. Another 2 weeks were needed for the clay to dry. The cost of such a complex is about $900, which is not higher than the cost of an average iPhone. The most interesting thing is that you can print such a house yourself. Recently, the same Italian company WASP announced the Maker Economy Starter Kit. This will be a container with everything you need for printing, including a 3D printer, photo-curable resins, welding kit, biogas generator, and even clay. According to forecasts, by 2030, 4 billion people with an annual income of less than $3,000 will demand a sharp increase in the supply of affordable housing. Most of them will not be able to spend more than 10% of their revenue on their own home. That is why clay constructions with an average cost of less than $1,000 will increase significantly in demand in the global real estate market.